Hello, so today I would like to show a tool I called Nuke Camera Shaker, which is basically a library of camera shakes taken out from original shots, so you don't have to reinvent camera shakes or try to make them look natural. Rather, I would like to have a library and I just have to choose from this library. And for this purpose I just wrote a little tool called the Camera Shaker, and I can import them and I have various options and to preview them as well. So in my case I have three different categories: a handheld, a floating and a shake. And I have a transitional shake, and then I try to separate them into the focal length, in the focal distance, and then have a counting ladder behind for variation. So let's say I would like to check out a 50mm camera shake, so I can preview those, and I get shown a grid a certain size, and I have different options over here to preview those camera shakes. So this is actually an original camera shake, they're not artificially made, so I'm trying to drag them from whatever I see. Oh, it's looking like a nice one. I can try to get the data out of it and just store them on hard drive with a little bit of explanation, like the focal length and the focal distance, and then it's easier to reuse them later on. So if I would like to have it less or more, I can just set up the multiplier, which is nothing else than the amplitude. So if I want a really hard camera shake, I can raise them up, and I can preview the frames per second, so I can just scroll through and just check in with less FPS or even with more if I would like to. Let's stick with 25. The start at option is nothing else than on which time should be the animation later on in Nuke. So in my case I want to start the camera shake at 1001. And then I can separate those, I can preview the grid size in different sizes, so if I want to have a more detailed grid for visualization, or just have a really small one, or just one cross, and then I can just increase the size of the line as well, maybe change the color if I fancy to, and then but I would rather go for something like this, but I can do it on the fly, and I can still go through all those settings in here and just adjust this as needed. So let's say, hey, I want to have a camera shake, so let's say I want to have an 80mm, and with 0.7 in the multiplication it looks nice, so I start to import them. I hit import, and I get a transform with an extra knob where there is the multiplication. So if I check the actual animation in the curve editor, I can just still scale them if I want, just to transfer the data from the preview right into Nuke. So let's say I would like to stick with the 0.7. I can time offset them if I want to, and then I have a proper camera shake right from scratch, which looks hopefully more natural than the built-in one, or just the artificial one afterwards. So I play this one, I do have the camera shake in here, and if I want to export them later on, so if I see, hey, let's get one, I can either modify this one. So let's say I want to have it on 0.5 time offset, not time offset, but then bake this one. This case it's fine, and then I would like to just filter them like heavily. So that's my new camera shake, and let's say I'm happy with it and I would like to store them for later use. So yeah, okay, it's really subtle, but it actually does work. So I can export them, and I can just browse to my location. I get a 50mm in here. Then I would of course set this up properly. It has a custom format called .shake, which is just an ASCII file. For those reasons I can hit enter. I can either bake a specific range, or I just use all existing keyframes, hit export, and then next time I open up the import panel, in this case on the floating, it should be the 50mm, and it's exactly what we have done in Nuke right now. So I have just push this into the library so I can reuse them later on the fly without spending time on do camera shakes. Yeah, and that's the new camera shaker. Thank you.